Welcome to Oklahoma City and the Paycom Center, home of the Oklahoma City Thunder, but this weekend it's home to women's gymnastics. And look who's in town. Two-time Olympian Jordan Childs, Olympic champion Jordan Childs, and her UCLA Bruins are here. And there's another member of an Olympic team, Jocelyn Robertson. She was an alternate on the 2024 team. She is here with the Arkansas Razorbacks. She was a star last year for Kentucky as a freshman. She's back as a sophomore. Delaney Rodriguez helps lead the Wildcats. And of course, the Ohio State Buckeyes, they have some injuries, but their veteran, Tori Vetter, will be leading the way, trying to get Ohio State the win today. You're watching the Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad. And here are your teams competing. This is the third session of what has been an amazing weekend of gymnastics. All top 20 teams competing here in this session. It should be another good one. Hello, everyone. I am John Roethlisberger, and I am joined by Olympic champion Allie Raisman. Allie, we've been pumping up this weekend of gymnastics for a long time, and so far it really has not disappointed.
It has not. The session right before this felt like we were watching a national championship, and I know that this session is going to feel the exact same. Despite this only being week 2 of the season, these athletes are ready and they're prepared.
Well, one of the headliners of tonight's competition, without a doubt, is two-time Olympian, Olympic champion Jordan Childs.
Jordan Childs is a superstar. She brings the fun, the good vibes, the energy to college gymnastics, and she is a fantastic competitor.
And not just great gymnastics. I mean, she does have that energy and that vibe, and she brought it back to the gym in Westwood. The Bruins are thrilled to have her back. Getting ready to go. She always just has a good time, right, Allie?
She always does. She's my good luck charm.
Another elite star that'll be on the floor tonight. She was a member of a world championship team that won gold. She's alternate on the 24 Olympic team, Jocelyn Robertson.
Yeah, she also won beam at Olympic trials. And what's so special about tonight is her collegiate debut. So how lucky are we that we get to watch that?
Excited to see Arkansas, a team that we didn't know if we were going to see at all, is the Kentucky Wildcats. They are here as well as we see Jocelyn getting ready to go on vault. Taylor Davis has got more on that journey for the Wildcats.
A journey indeed, John. As tough as tonight's meet is going to be, the first challenge for Kentucky was getting here. The team was slated to depart for Oklahoma City Thursday morning at 11 a.m. But because of the winter storm that went through this week, 8 hours of delays in the Lexington airport before the flight was eventually canceled, and they sent the rest of the team home. Luckily, the university was able to provide a charter the next morning. They arrived in Oklahoma City. Head coach Tim Garrison told me they had a little over an hour to get some food, check into the hotel, and be here for podium training. But they are here. They are ready to roll here tonight. And like he told me, hey, it's good for us to be adaptable this early in season. John?
Thanks, Taylor. I don't think anyone would have got a charter for us. I just got a hunch, but we're happy to see Kentucky here. Ohio State is here as well. They're going to be without one of their stars, Peyton Harris, so a lot of weight on the shoulders of Tori Vetter. Big Ten beam co-champion. She will be doing the all-around. We'll see what we can get from Ohio State tonight. Here we go, getting ready for the third and final session of the Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad. It's been a journey, and this third session, no doubt, will not disappoint. We get ready for this third and final session of the Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad. It's been an amazing weekend of gymnastics to start the season. And here's what you can expect tonight. We call this the double duel quad meet format. So 4 teams competing simultaneously, but only 2 events going at one time. It'll be a split screen. You'll see both gymnasts that are competing on their respective events, alternating events between vault and beam and floor and bars. And of course, there is the Olympic order, but all these teams start on a different event and they go the Olympic order from that point. So you'll see all the gymnastics. You won't miss a routine. You won't miss a score. You'll see the scoring tower here in a few moments as we get going. It'll be on the right hand of your screen. But Allie, a great session. We saw Oklahoma win their session earlier today. We saw last night a tremendous session as well. Came right down to the wire for Michigan, and I expect nothing less here with this session.
I completely agree. I cannot wait to see how the competition turns out tonight.
Isabella Ravelli getting things started for Kentucky on bars. Cami Weaver on vault.
Beautiful full twist from Cami. Judges are looking for hips open the entire time to have that complete layout position throughout.
Cami is working a 1.5. Injured that knee on a 1.5 her freshman year, but looked good on that vault. Ravelli getting started for the Wildcats. You can see Tim Garrison there with a double high five. Done a tremendous job with his Wildcat team. Really brought them to prominence over the last few years. Emily Lee for UCLA starting things off on beam. And Sydney Washington for the Buckeyes on floor exercise.
All 4 of the gymnasts that are in that leadoff spot. This spot is one of the most important positions in the entire competition because your teammates are relying on you to set the tone for the rest of the competition. Emily's got a lot of pressure on her, starting off first on balance beam for her team. Rock solid. Sydney opening up with a massive double pike. The difference between elite gymnastics and collegiate gymnastics is in elite, you have to stick the landings on floor. On floor, they allow you in collegiate to take a step back, to lunge out of it. You just have to show control. Emily doing an excellent job of taking it one skill at a time. Great start.
Emily Lee participated in the Olympic trials in 2021. She's a 3-time national team member, so quite a resume for her. And what a luxury to have an athlete like that leading things off. Leah Smith for Arkansas. She'll follow Cami Weaver. Cami with an opening 9.75. A decent start score. The top teams in the country usually won't count anything lower than a 9.8.
Wow. That is probably one of the best Yurchenko fulls in the country. What separates her from everyone else is when she lifts her shoulders up to twist, she takes a beat before she starts twisting. She waits a moment, gets that amplitude, and then starts the twist.
That was beautiful, and you know that's a vault. She saw that hop. That's a vault. A hop is a miss probably for her. That's the standards I'm guessing she has for a vault like that. Here comes freshman Ryan Noonan. 9.75 to start for Ravelli. Emily Lee, a 9.9. Fantastic start for the Bruins as Caitlin Rosen, the sophomore, gets ready to go.
Kentucky doing a great job on bars, hitting that handstand at the top of the bar. Judges allow for a 10-degree window on the top of the bar. They're hoping for a stuck dismount.
Got it. You called it. They delivered. Noonan with the stuck landing. Caitlin Rosen, left side of your screen for the Bruins. Heart and soul of the team, according to Janelle McDonald, the head coach of the Bruins in her 3rd year. Caitlin, a national team member in 2020, came out of Twin City Twisters Gymnastic Club. So many athletes this weekend came out of that gym.
Caitlin's gonna do 3 skills in a row. Back handspring, layout, layout. Wow, I thought on that second one, it looked like she missed her foot. That is so impressive that she was able to make that correction on a 4-inch wide beam and not have any wobble.
Yeah, it looked like there was a little hitch there, but she almost got more aggressive going into the last one.
I don't know how she did that, but that was really impressive.
Caitlin Grimes on floor exercise. Sydney Washington, nice start for the Buckeyes. 9.85. This has historically been a good event for Ohio State, so you got to think they want to get out to a strong start.
UCLA rocking it on beam. To start on beam, I don't think a lot of gymnasts would choose that because it's such a nerve-wracking event as it is, but look at how pumped up they are. Well deserved. That was excellent.
Caitlin Rosen loving it, and they should. Where do you go up from a 9.9? Usually the scores build throughout a rotation. You come out of the gate with a 9.9, you're setting your teammates up for big numbers. A favorite for the Arkansas Razorbacks, Frankie Price, always brings a lot of great gymnastics.
tried too hard to stick that landing. It's such a fine line in gymnastics. She opened up and anticipated that landing. You don't want to go for the stick. You want to think about what you have to do in the beginning of the vault, and then the stick will come. It's
so tempting though, right, Allie? I mean, she's up there a mile high in the air. You see the floor. How do you not resist putting those arms out looking for it?
It's very, very difficult. It takes years of practice. And even so, it's a millisecond of a timing. It was still a great vault, but she'll get a deduction for under rotating.
So a pair of 9-9s for UCLA to start their beam rotation. I think the judges are just afraid to throw something higher than a 9-9 for one of the first two athletes. Talk about heart and soul of the team. Shea Campbell is that type of athlete also, as we mentioned about Caitlin Rose and Shea, just the exact type of leader and athlete you want to have on your team.
This beam rotation is getting me excited. The way that they are just hitting routine after routine. Spring layout, 2 feet, very well done. What's risky about that skill is if you pike down, you risk not getting full credit for the layout position. No issues there for her today.
Shea Campbell, a graduate student in her 5th year. UCLA certainly happy to have her back. Haley Davis, right side of your screen, gets started on bars for Kentucky.
Jaeger release move, nice height. Judges want to see hips and body well above the bar, just like that. The key for bars is doing one skill at a time, but when you're nervous, sometimes you tend to rush. Double layout, legs squeezed together. Oh, again, tried a little too hard to go for that stick. Let go just a moment too early. Haley should have held on just a little bit longer before she dismounted. Watch her body position in the air. She's going to do a layout 2 feet, very difficult, and just nails it.
You mentioned the stuck landings and trying too hard. As we see Jocelyn Robertson, I'll pause for a moment because we do not want to miss this vault. As an elite, one of the best in the world on this event, I think a lot of people are waiting to see what is she going to do in college.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Excellent. Just that small deduction for that slight hop on that, but that was her first time ever competing in college, and what a way to start for Jocelyn.
Riley Guevara for Ohio State, the freshman on Georgia size. I was going to say, you know, so much different than Olympic gymnastics. You see so many difficult skills, and it's about how much you can do in a routine at the elite level, but you come to college, and it's about perfection. It's not necessarily about doing 10 of the hardest skills any human being has ever done. It's about doing maybe a few less skills, but doing them perfect. And a perfect example of that is how they press on these landings, don't you think?
Completely, and that's actually what Jocelyn told me has been the hardest part of her coming into college gymnastics, is trying to do everything so perfectly. She's still getting used to it.
And those landings, such a big part of this sport. The stuck landing, you hear us talk about it over and over again, but it's the difference between championship teams and those that aren't.
I love that back layout step out on the floor exercise. That was beautiful.
Another Olympian, Brooklyn Moores, on balance beam for UCLA. Shea Campbell, a very good 9.875, the first score below a 9.9 for UCLA.
Brooklyn attacking this event. What stands out to me is her choreography. And just as the acro skills and the jumps and the leaps are a huge part of it, the judges also take into account the dance elements like she's doing right now. A little bit off on that. Judges are very strict with those connections. They want to make sure your body is in complete alignment with the beam. Her shoulder dipped a little bit, so it'll be interesting to see if they give her that connection bonus.
Jillian Perkaski on bars now, 2 scores in the 9.7s for Kentucky. Not ideal, so pressure on these last 3 routines.
Kentucky does a great job being very consistent. I think that's the team's superpower. Handstand on the top of the bar. Watch her knees and toes as she dismounts the bar.
There you go.
Beautiful.
That's the other thing about sticking landings early in the season. They don't do a lot of hard landings in practice. You don't want to beat up your body. So those landings generally come better as the season goes on. Dakota Essen-Priest on vault.
Excellent block off the table. Her elbows were so straight, which gave her that pop and gave her a lot of amplitude. And these landings, people might not realize they're actually very hard. And when you stick a landing, it's more force and more pounding on your body. So as you mentioned, they might not be able to stick them as much in practice as they would like to.
And that's your prize for sticking the landing, is you get to get pounded on your body more. Your ankles and knees really do take it when you land perfectly, ironically. We talked about Tori Vetter in the open. A lot riding on her. Her teammate Peyton Harris, who did all around in every meet last year, as did Tori Vetter. A lot on her shoulders tonight. Sienna Alipio for UCLA mounts the balance beam. Junior. Attended Midwest Gymnastics, the same gym that Suni Lee attended. Her coaches, Jess Graba, Allie Lim, were her club coaches.
Triple series, back handspring layout, step out. Taking that extra risk, doing 3 skills in a row. It's a requirement to do 2. I admire when gymnasts do an extra one to add that extra risk. Side aerial, solid. On both of these events, beam and floor, the judges are looking for 180-degree splits. Anything below that will be a deduction. Tori finishing off that floor routine very strong with a front full into a front 1.5. UCLA just handling the pressure like pros. That is something that, you know, no matter how hard you train, when the moment comes when you have to compete on beam, sometimes you just get, the nerves get the best of you. And right here, this back handspring layout step out, just rock solid.
Not a great start to the season last week rather for the UCLA Bruins, but here on balance beam, leaving no doubt. Priscilla Park on vault, following a 9.85.
Saw Priscilla struggle with this in the warm-ups. She did a better one than she did in that 30-second touch. Her elbows were bent on the table. When your elbows are straight, that's how you get higher off the table. And Delaney is one of the most consistent gymnasts I have ever seen in my life. I had so much fun watching her last season. She is a master at sticking her landing, so I hope I don't jinx her here. She's gonna do a double layout.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
You jinxed her, but that's okay. She was amazing. You mentioned as a freshman last year, she started the events in each rotation for Kentucky, and just one after the other would never miss. And that is exactly what you want from your starting gymnast. She's earned her way down in the lineup. Tim Garrison said can't leave her first anymore, but she was outstanding in that role last year. Now Emma Malabuyo on the balance beam. Taylor, go ahead.
Well, Allie, you used the word attack for this UCLA beam lineup, and that's exactly how they've approached it. I've been down here by the team. There has been an intensity in their eyes the entire time, and like you mentioned, a rough first meet for them last week. 2 falls in the first rotation. It was important to them to get off to a better start this week. They've done just that.
Thanks, Taylor. Yes, a fantastic start. UCLA here, not much unlike we saw from the Oklahoma Sooners in the last session of this weekend's competition. They were outstanding. UCLA very similar. Let's not forget about Ohio State. Their floor rotation doing exactly what they need to do. A little trouble from J.J. Coleman on that full in.
Very difficult first tumbling pass, full in, landed a little bit short on that, but did a good job recovering it. And Emma, I feel like we're watching the national championship, the way that UCLA is attacking the beam. They could not have asked for a better first rotation. Their coaches have got to be so proud of them.
They are thrilled on the sidelines, jumping up and down. What a start for the Bruins. They will likely drop that 9.775. Again, the scoring tower on the right. Those are the lineups for each team on their respective events. Scores come in. Keep in mind, women's gymnastics, 6 gymnasts for each event, 5 scores count. The lighter shaded score is the one that team will drop. So UCLA on beam, Brooklyn Moore is a 9.775. You see it's a little more lightly shaded. That is the score they'll drop as long as Emma Malabugio's score is higher than that one, which we fully expect it to be.
That last pass was very technically well done. Did a front through into a double tuck, gets 1/10 extra bonus for that punch front connecting into the last pass.
Ohio State looks good. You know, we talked to Coach Meredith Polisivic leading into this competition. It was a pretty entertaining call because she talked about all the challenges this fall, and I think she referred to it as Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is how she described it. But they're coming out, but she did say, hey, floor is a great event for us. We need to come out, we need to be strong on floor, and they're doing that. Set themselves up for a good 3 events to follow.
They absolutely are. I had to Google what that ride was.
As a big Disney fan myself, I know all the rides. Skylar Kilo Wilhelm for Kentucky, a transfer from Washington. Great addition to this team.
That connection right there, Pike Yeager into overshoot. That's the one time they don't have to hit that handstand on the low bar because it's connected. Judges just want to see it at least horizontal. And a gorgeous floating double layout. Oh, tried too hard to stick that. Opened up for it. Judges want to see you land with your chest vertical.
You know, Kentucky, great bar rotation, but it seems like a couple of those landings were the difference between scores in the 9.7s and maybe even a 9.9 for some of them.
I completely agree. It might just be nerves. We're still so early on in the season. Watch her chest position as she lands. Want to see it completely vertical. And her legs were too straight on the landing. If she bent her legs and absorbed the landing, she would have been able to have a better controlled landing.
Might be one of those double whammy deductions, right? You move your feet and then you drop your chest, and it gives judges a couple of chances to move that pencil. Mason Rader now, the anchor position. She follows J.J. Coleman's 9.725. That's the lowest score, though, for Ohio State in this rotation. They'd love to see a 9.9 here. Obviously, UCLA came out strong, finished their rotation with a 9.925 from Malabuyo. So these teams want to keep pace with the Bruins. They're not messing around.
Double pike first pass landed with her hips a little bit back, which is why she had that scoop back. It's very difficult to control your landings with your hips under your body, hips tight and shoulders up. Still very early on in the season. These routines, despite how these gymnasts are making them look easy, require immense endurance, so she could have just been tired at the end of the routine.
So not the finish Ohio State wanted on that floor rotation, which was otherwise done very well. Taylor Davis has got our coach's interview presented by Jersey Mike. She's with Janelle McDonald.
Thank you, John. Coach, intensity personified in that first rotation on beam. What'd you see from your group?
You know, I'm just really proud of how they came out here today. You know, last week didn't quite go our way, and we were ready to reset and just get this meet started off strong, and they did exactly that. You know, we're competing for our city tonight. You know, it's trying to spread some joy and some heart to LA, and so I couldn't be more proud of how they showed exactly that up on the beam tonight.
They certainly did. Thanks for the time, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. Go Bruins.
John.
Thanks, Taylor. Bruins beat their score on beam from last week by almost half a point. Welcome to Oklahoma City. This is the Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad. We are one rotation in. I am John Roethlisberger, joined by Olympic champion Allie Raisman. Allie, great first rotation. The UCLA Bruins are the big exclamation point from round one. They had a tough time on beam in week one of the season, but today, outstanding start.
UCLA could not have asked for a better start to that first rotation. It was incredible. I felt like I was watching the first rotation of a national championship.
They are ahead of Ohio State, Kentucky right now in third, Arkansas in fourth. Here's a look back at that UCLA Bruin beam rotation.
Beautiful back handspring layout, step out, stuck landings. They barely had any mistakes in these three skills connected in a row. So difficult, takes that extra risk. Another stuck landing here. The confidence of this team is what's standing out to me. Beautiful height on that.
They were absolutely pumped up. And one thing about women's collegiate gymnastics is we've got stars. We've got Olympic stars like Jordan Childs. Everywhere you look, it's a new look women's collegiate gymnastics.
Not gonna lie, it was very exhausting just trying to balance, college gymnastics and traveling all over the world for elite too. My coaches were very supportive and wanted the best for me, and they were like, well, this is the Olympic year, once in a lifetime shot, so we want to support you in any way.
I feel like the Olympic year always brings a huge amount of energy and viewers to the sport, so I think all of the Olympic athletes coming into college or coming back to college or eventually going to go into it, I feel like it's bringing a lot of those viewers and energy into it, and it's just really sparking the excitement, and I'm so excited to see where the season goes.
It's an honor to be able to represent. At the end of the day, if you're enjoying your sport and you want to go to school to get a degree, and you know that there are high-class level schools out there, why not join? Why not have the ability, just to continue your book? Everybody has a story that they're writing, so. And if you're an Olympian and you don't want that to be the end of your story, then continue on with something that, you feel confident and comfortable in.
UCLA's Emma Malibuyu told me for her and teammate Jordan Childs, achieving that lifelong dream was surreal. But Emma was transparent with me this week, saying they've struggled a little bit with the pressure returning to NCAA gymnastics. She said there's a common misconception that because we're Olympians, we just have college gymnastics figured out. It's something that the two teammates have really leaned on each other for. The false expectations from the outside. And it's something that head coach Janelle McDonald spoke with them about, saying, hey, the reason you're in NCAA gymnastics is to be part of a team. The only thing we expect is that you give your best for your team. And it's something that they certainly did in that first rotation. We are going to see them head to the floor, a place where Jordan Childs absolutely shines. We've got high-flying gymnastics coming up next, so don't go anywhere.
Farmers Market Collegiate Quad here in Oklahoma City, Paycom Center. It's been a fantastic weekend of gymnastics. After one rotation, the UCLA Bruins in the top spot, just 5/10 separating the first team and the fourth team. Allie Raisman, Olympic champion. You've seen a lot of gymnastics, but this weekend it's been pretty special.
It has been so special. The session right before this felt like we were watching the national championship, and the way that UCLA just started on balance beam, I feel like we're watching another national championship. These athletes look so prepared despite it just being week 2 of the season.
So these teams we're watching right now, certainly a lot of them on the rise, and Ohio State is one of them. The last couple of years, they have moved up the rankings, some of their best finishes in their history. Head coach Meredith Paula-Civic has led the way in her 8th season now.
It's been so fun to watch Ohio State to continue to improve, and they just opened up with an excellent floor rotation. They're heading to vault right now. I'm very excited to see the type of gymnastics that they're gonna do, and they have to end on beam tonight, so that's gonna be a big test for them, but I know they can do it.
And what a fun coach to talk to. You have coaches calls, and a lot of times they'll give you a coach speak. Meredith, not so much. She kind of said it how it is, and she has a ton of energy, and said the fall wasn't perfect, by any means. But you know what? You get into the season, and they're going to build a lot, hopefully get healthy, some of their key players, and they will be fun to see where they can finish up.
It absolutely will be.
Here we go for the second of 4 rotations. Buckeyes currently sitting in that second spot, 3/10 behind UCLA, despite the fact that UCLA put up a huge number, 49.475 on balance beam. Any rotation that you can get a 49 in the mid 49s, that is outstanding. Sydney Washington for the Buckeyes on vault. Jocelyn Robertson, we saw her first ever collegiate routine on vault. Did outstanding there. Here she is on uneven bars.
Sydney on vault doing a Yurchenko full out of a 995 start value. Vault is the only event that not all of vault start out at a 10.0. Jocelyn's first collegiate meet of her life right now. The layout stuck dismount.
Not the best, not her strength, I should say, Jocelyn, on the uneven bars, but talked to Coach Chris Brooks before the meet, and he said, we've really been strategic with her, talked about being clean, taking out some of the difficulty you did as an elite. That was a beautifully planned out and executed routine.
Yeah, there's a lot of thought that goes into the routine construction, and Jocelyn told me the hardest part of collegiate gymnastics for her is trying to be perfect.
Caitlin Rosen for the Bruins on the right hand of your screen. Outstanding beam routine for her to open Delaney Rodriguez in the starter position on balance beam for the Wildcats. Oh! Save.
Great save for Delaney. 3 skills in a row. Very difficult. It's a requirement to have 2 acro skills connected, and Delaney takes that extra risk with that 3rd one. Her shoulder dipped. Did a good job of saving it. And Caitlin on floor, the choreography that you will see in this routine and from UCLA is outstanding. They will put on a show. Small hop for Delaney.
So that wobble and that hop, certainly she was hoping to be a little cleaner than that, but stayed on. Now they just need to build from there. Riley Guevara for Ohio State follows a 9.825 from Sydney Washington.
On floor, looked like Caitlin punched with her legs bent and did a really good job recovering on both of those skills. Great start for UCLA, an excellent job for Ohio State. Stuck landing, that's exactly what they want to see.
No better feeling in gymnastics than a stuck landing, Allie.
There really isn't. Watch the body position throughout. Just a minor pike down. Judges know when you're doing a Yurchenko full, they know that there's going to be a pike down, so it's a deduction they know they're going to take throughout the night, but that's going to be a big score.
So Ohio State continues that momentum they had on floor exercise. Caitlin Ewald for Arkansas on bars. Jocelyn Robertson, a 9.825. Arkansas's got a little work to do. Half point behind UCLA. I think a lot of people looked at Arkansas as maybe the favorite to win this session.
Those handstands on top of the bar. Judges allow for a 10-degree window, and that was a very high pack salter from the high bar to low bar. Looked like she released the bar almost a moment too late. That was an excellent handstand. That's textbook, exactly what the judges are looking for. Double layout. Could see a little slight leg separation, but we have a different viewpoint from the judges, so maybe they weren't able to see that leg separation like we did, but fantastic landing.
It's actually really hard as we look at our AAI tech tools, Allie.
This handstand right here is textbook, toe point, legs tight.
It's very hard to see that leg separation on that double layout from the side. I've been on the side before, and it's a very different perspective, so we'll see what the judges do. Kreslin Bros, one of the best performers on this Kentucky team. Here she is on beam, following a 9.6 from Rodriguez. Can't count that 9.6 if you're Kentucky.
Difficult punch front. Few gymnasts do that, what Kreslin just did on floor.
Here comes Olympian for the Philippines from 2024, Emma Malabuyo. Outstanding job on balance beam.
In elite gymnastics on floor, you have to stick your landings. In collegiate gymnastics, they allow you to lunge out of it and take a step. If you're watching, ask yourself, did she want to take a step or did she have to? Good routine for Kreslin. Just that step on that dismount might be around 1/10 of a deduction, but the rest of the routine was solid. Did a good job doing one skill at a time.
Smith for Ohio State on vault. If Bruno Mars doesn't get you going, Allie, I don't know what will.
That was an excellent vault, and Emma's floor routine was fantastic. I used to go to national team training camp with Emma. I've known her since she was little, and to see the way that she has just become so confident and one of the best performers out of all gymnasts in the entire world, it's so awesome to see. I'm expecting that to be a massive score. UCLA is on fire.
You could just see in that lighter blue sweater next to the floor, BJ Das, the choreographer who's just done magic with the Bruins over the years. There's Callie Swaney now. A couple of 9.825s for Arkansas here in this rotation. Good start for them.
I love that first handstand on bars.
Carly Bush, the third gymnast to go for Kentucky. Remember, they're trying to drop that 9-6. You count 5 scores on each event. You put up 6 athletes. You can drop the low. Kentucky does not want to count a 9-6.
Tried too hard to stick that landing. Opened up just ever so slightly too early on that double layout on bars. But those handstand positions at the top of the bar, it looked like a straight line. And that's exactly what the judges want to see.
And that was the double hop. When you're fighting for that landing, you take what you think is just a small hop, and sometimes, you know, just take a little bigger one and avoid the second hop, which, again, opens you up for more deductions. Macy McGowan now on floor. The momentum from balance beam certainly has continued. 9.925 for Emma Malabuyo.
Kentucky doing a good job of handling the pressure. Keep in mind, they can hear the crowd, the floor music starting. It's so hard when you're on beam to block everything out and just treat it like a regular day at the gym. Massive first stumbling pass for Macy, a full in. The most difficult level of gymnastics in E. That's the highest amount you can get in collegiate gymnastics.
Look close to the out of bounds. I don't know if you saw it or not, Allie, but that's 1/10 of a point if she goes out.
Yeah, I didn't notice if she went out. It's hard to see from this angle.
Our eyes on the sideline, Taylor Davis just gave me the old signal. She was in, so we're going to go with that. Caitlin Grimes on vault with the hop on the landing, but otherwise good.
Caitlin twisted fast in that and then was able to flare out and open out almost like the 92 Olympic gymnastics. I love that era of fulls. I love when gymnasts are able to twist quickly, have time to open up to spot that landing.
That is the video every college coach should bring up if you're doing the laid out Yurchenko full. Shannon Miller's, Kim Zameskel's.
It's the best era of gymnastics in my opinion. I love it.
Is it because I competed in the 90s or?
It is,
okay,
absolutely.
I just wanted to make sure that's, there's BJ Das. We mentioned her earlier, the choreography for UCLA. Allie, were you alive in 92?
I was not.
So you just looked up the YouTube videos, I assume, or what?
I used to watch it on a VHS tape. So if there's little gymnasts watching, they might not know what that is.
VHS tape. I think my gymnastics is still in black and white. I don't think they even had color. Great, Macy McGowan here. No, actually Priscilla Park, that is, for Arkansas on the uneven bars. Oh, and Chesney Bennett off the balance beam for Kentucky.
Gymnastics is very unforgiving on the balance beam. If you just dip your shoulder ever so slightly that you're not perfectly even on the beam, it's so hard to correct that. A fall is half a tenth. They're gonna wanna drop this score. It's also very hard to reset yourself mentally, knowing you have to do the rest of the routine after.
And here's the difficult part for Kentucky, is they are gonna have to count that 9-6 that I mentioned they did not wanna count. They also have a 9-7. If you recall, 9-7s for the top teams in the country don't wanna count those either. So 2 scores that they don't wanna count, they're just gonna have to here on beam. With 2 gymnasts yet to go, they need big, big scores. They wanna stay in this.
I love how she came back and stuck that landing. She's just a freshman. It's only the second meet of the season. This is how they gain experience, how they learn, how they grow.
When she was an elite gymnast, competed for the national team of Canada, did Brooklyn Moores, and she is a 3-time world finalist on this event. She's big time here.
Wow. That was excellent. Didn't even need to lunge out of it.
Veteran Tori Vetter on vault.
Wow. That, I could tell that was gonna be good from the way that her elbows hit the table. She took a moment, got that dynamic height, and then twisted really fast, opened up for that landing.
We have not seen any 10-0s yet this season. That vault starts from a 9.95, so in theory, if she gets a 9.95, that's our first perfect score.
The elegance of the routine, the performance, but also the technique, the way that her legs are squeezed together on every single skill. Brooklyn hasn't competed 3 events since freshman year due to injury, so I'm so happy to see that she's back out there.
I wouldn't want to go after her because she takes that artistry that you mentioned to such another level. I feel like she'd make me look bad when I followed her if I'm another gymnast out there. It's just so perfect.
I wouldn't either, but if anyone's gonna go after her, the next person, Shea, is unbelievable on floor.
Skylar Kilo Wilhelm for Kentucky in a tough spot. You can see that Bennett score of an 8.975. Maddie Wallagora now for Arkansas on bars, a transfer from Alabama.
That was stunning, the height that she got on that back handspring on beam. Skylar, you could argue, has the most difficult position in the entire competition, going after someone that falls. You know you can't, you want to drop the score that your teammate has, so you have that pressure to set your team back on the right foot and get the team's confidence back. Maddie on bars, very clean routine. Maddie stands out to me because she gets a lot of height on her release moves, and despite how easy she makes it look, those routines require a lot of endurance, and she just flies through the air. Skylar doing a difficult side aerial into 1.5 twist, more of a unique dismount. Usually we see round off. The side aerial only allows her to have one leg on before doing the 1.5, so that takes a lot of strength.
Janelle McDonald was asking for a 10 after that Brooklyn Moores floor routine. Not quite. Gets a 9.95, but outstanding nonetheless. And here comes Shea Campbell. J.J. Coleman for Ohio State on vault. She follows that 9.9 from Tori Vetter.
Wow. Shea just stuck that cold, and then JJ did a massive 1.5 Yurchenko twist, over-rotated that, made that look way too easy on vault.
That Shea Campbell stuck landing was almost like one of those where your feet land and you can't move them. because they just sunk into the mat.
Wow. I could see the way she just opened up, perfect timing with her chest up for that landing.
Senior Isabella Magnelli now on balance beam. 9-8 from Kilo Wilhelm. Need a big one here.
That was fantastic. It could be a 10. What do you think? The first one of the weekend.
I don't think if I mortgaged my house right now, I could get a 10 from these judges. They've been a little tough this weekend.
They have.
But it's good. It's a good way to start the season, I think. You know, make them earn it. We'll get some 10s later this year, but we've seen some routines that if they threw a 10, I went to bat at an eye. Isabella Magnelli now on the beam. This is a must-hit routine if Kentucky has any chance of getting back in this.
Isabella is so consistent with that triple series right there, making it look so effortless.
Maddie Jones finishes things off for Arkansas on bars, trying to drop that 9.725.
That handstand on the top of the bar, bounced on the top of it. Extra impressive. Isabella hitting every single movement. Wow. These two gymnasts on the screen, I think, are doing the best routines they could possibly do. That's why they're in the anchor position.
Arkansas and Kentucky went toe-to-toe at the regionals last year to qualify for the NCAA championships. There's Magnelli's dismount. It was Kentucky upsetting the Wildcats, kept them out of the NCAA championships. Coming into this season, Jordan Weaver said, we want to show that was not a fluke. We belong. And there are a lot of expectations on this Arkansas Razorback team this year.
There really are, but I know that they're working so hard, and they came back from that the Nationals, and they were so inspired, and they're so hungry to be back there again in the finals.
Well, and here she is. We have teased her appearance at this competition for some time. Arguably the biggest name on the floor this weekend, two-time Olympian, Olympic champion, Jordan Chiles. She's an NCAA champion on this event, and you are about to see why.
Brand new floor routine for Jordan.
Wow.
Wow. I couldn't help but just smile the entire time. What a performer. And then on top of that, the tumbling passes, the opening tumbling pass, the double layout is difficult. One of the hardest skills being done in the competition. Watch the way that she keeps her body position, her hips open the entire time. It's more difficult because your body is in a laid out position, which means you rotate slower. You have to get higher to get your body all the way around.
The choreography, though, I'm exhausted watching this routine. Just start to finish, the performance quality next level.
That was so fun. And then this last pass, double tuck, controlled that landing, landed with her chest perfectly upright.
A shout out to LA. Obviously, we all know what that part of the country is going through right now, and our thoughts go out to them, and Jordan's thinking of them right now. What a performance. I don't know what the judges are going to do with that, but that was outstanding. Let's go down to Taylor Davis.
Jordan Chiles might be the definition of built different. We've actually got a couple photos of Jordan back in the day, an athlete her entire life, just your average 8-year-old. I've never had biceps like that in my entire life. She's appropriately named after the GOAT, Michael Jordan, and I can confirm, John, she did hear from Michael Jordan himself wishing her luck ahead of the Olympics this past summer.
Oh my goodness, the gun show from an 8-year-old Jordan Chiles. Unbelievable. 9.975 for Jordan Chiles. I'm not sure who's going to beat that one this year. That was outstanding. Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad is brought to you by Sprouts Farmers Market, powering women on and off the mat. Here are the athletes getting fueled by Sprouts, and they also got a chance to visit the gift station from Kendra Scott and pick out some pieces of jewelry. More gymnastics. We're only at the halfway point.
You are watching the Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad. Well, after last year's historic finish for Arkansas's gymnastics program, this coaching staff took no time to rest. They had quite the offseason, starting with head coach Jordan Weber, who went on the reality show Special Forces, putting contestants through military training courses. She told us it's one of the most challenging things she's ever done. A little bit lighter note, assistant coach Kyla Ross had a beautiful wedding this past summer. I believe our very own Allie Raceman had a great time with her former teammates. And then, of course, head coach Jordan Weber, along with her husband Chris Brooks, just recently announced their latest addition.
All right, bring energy today. Good backs. What do we want?
Yes, a new gym back will be joining the bunch this June. That video truly never gets old. The team was incredibly excited. She said many of them cried in support, obviously. But, John, 2024 was a pretty big year for this Arkansas program, but 2025 is off to a good start as well.
Yeah, Taylor, I think it's going to be a bigger year. Oh, the announcement of the baby, though, that's the best.
It's so sweet. She told me about it when I was at the grocery store, and I was crying.
This coaching staff for Arkansas, though, quite the resume as gymnasts. Olympians everywhere you look. Jordan Weber, obviously your teammate, won that Olympic gold medal. Chris Brooks on a couple of teams as well. Kyla Ross, pretty impressive, but they brought that expertise and become great coaches as well.
They really have. I wish that they were my coaches. I wish I could get out there and have them for me. But Jordan actually used to be my roommate at the Olympic Games, and Jordan has always been very detail-oriented. I've always been kind of messy, so Jordan used to help me pack when we traveled together, and it was foreshadowing being a great coach and a great mom.
And of course, Caitlin Branson added as well, two-time national champions with Lindenwood. Halfway through, Arkansas, they're moving to beam. They got some work to do to catch those Bruins.
Hey, Coach Dan. Hey, Buckeyes. Let's go get Notre Dame. OH, baby. You got this.
Let's go, Bucks. OH. Let's go, Bucks. Let's win that natty. Let's go.
Let's go, Bucks. Let's beat Notre Dame and win that national championship. Come on, Buckeyes. OH, OH.
I.O. Don't forget the I.O. It all comes down to this. The College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T. Ohio State squares off against Notre Dame Monday, January 20th, 7 Eastern Time on ESPN. The Buckeyes and the Irish have met 8 times. Buckeyes have won 6. The last national title for Notre Dame, 1988. Who was the coach? Lou Holtz. You know where Lou Holtz coached before Notre Dame, Allie?
I have no idea.
The University of Minnesota, my alma mater. It was heartbreaking. He left us. That's another subject, though. Here we are, third rotation, getting started on vault. A leading team, UCLA Bruins. That's Emily Lee.
The way that Emily opened her hips right before that landing was excellent.
Sydney Washington for Ohio State. on bars. They're the second place team right now, but they're 6/10 behind the UCLA Bruins. You can see the standings bottom right of your corner. 6/10 in women's gymnastics start to become a large lead. A fall is a 5/10 deduction. So in theory, you can say UCLA could count a fall and still be ahead of Ohio State. Now, there's other factors that come into play there, but that gives you an idea of how much of a lead that is. Arkansas, Kentucky over a point behind. That is monumental if they're going to come back from that. Calixta Gamio now on beam for Arkansas.
Unique and difficult standing back layout, step out.
Delaney Rodriguez for Kentucky gets things started on floor exercise.
On beam right there, it's more difficult landing on the side because you can't use your toes to grip the beam in the way you can when you're facing forward. That full turn on balance beam is a requirement, so you're going to see that a lot tonight or some variation of it. Round off 1.5 dismount. That step forward, going to be 1/10 deduction. But great start. That leadoff spot on beam is one of the most important places in the entire competition to set the tone for the rest of the team to go up. And that's the type of consistency we're used to seeing from Delaney on floor. That's why she's the leadoff spot.
Brooklyn Moore is now on vault. She's outstanding on floor, but this event as well, one of her best.
Wow. That ball is out of a 10.0. Did a great job on the table. Judges want to see shoulders and head in the same position. Just that step back. Watch her head position and elbows as she hits the table. Lands with her chest up. Actually think she brought her chest and shoulders up so quickly that she took a step back.
For UCLA, though, it feels like a rotation. Land on your feet. It's okay to take a step. They're going to maintain that lead. For them, it feels like it's going to come down to that bar rotation at the end. Maddie Jones on beam follows a 9.825 from Gamio. And Kate Parks also follows a 9.825 on bars from Washington. Oh, yep, correct. Oh, a little trouble on that handstand.
That's the risk you take when you try to go big for that cast handstand. It's hard not to miscalculate it by just a moment. I think coaches would prefer the gymnast to overshoot it like she did an arch like that, rather than not go big and do a flat cast handstand. Did a great job recovering. Beautiful double layout. Legs really straight in the air, toes pointed. Maddie doing a good job of using her dance elements to breathe and take her time. Had a balance check on that full turn. Probably one of her easiest skills in the routine, but that's not uncommon on an easier skill to have a balance check. You're thinking about the next hard skill that you have to do.
Isabella Magnelli, she was the anchor on that balance beam rotation. Outstanding there. Here she is on floor exercise. Follows Delaney Rodriguez's 9.85. So good starts from all four of these teams here in rotation 3. Shea Campbell on vault. You talk about laid out Yurchenko fulls. Dare I say anyone does it better than Shea Campbell. Here it is.
Wow. That just looks too easy for her. The way that she opens her hips and gets so much amplitude off the table before twisting is beautiful. Isabella finishing up with a double pike, landed with her chest a little bit lower than the judges would like to see, and a little bit more of a squat than the judges want to see.
Kate Parks for Ohio State, a 9.725. They have 4 yet to go. Maddie Jones matches Gamio's 9.825 on balance beam. So a pair of 9.825s. Priscilla Park mounts the beam. Again, everybody chasing down the UCLA Bruins. Ohio State 6/10 back. They've got to chip away at that lead. If they want to try to steal it at the end, Arkansas and Kentucky almost feels like UCLA needs to make some mistakes for them to get back in this. Sophomore Samara Buchanan will be the next to go for Ohio State on bars.
Great height on that first back handspring. Switch leap, difficult connection because you're balancing on just that one leg. Taking off on that second skill takes a lot of strength for that one leg.
And Ohio State with a break.
Good job fighting through that. I give her a lot of credit for not completely coming off of the bar. Definitely a fighter to keep going. That's not easy. It takes a lot of strength to squeeze that bar and keep your swing. When you stop the momentum, it's even more exhausting to try to continue to get that rhythm back.
We've seen some good fights on bars this weekend. Jazara Ranger from Michigan on Friday night, one-arm catch, and she hangs onto the bar, and great fight right there from Buchanan. It will be a big deduction, unfortunately. That'll be the routine they want to drop, but love to see him battle. Jillian Prokaski on floor exercise for Kentucky. Couple of 9.8s, scores at 9.8 or above rather for Kentucky. Here's Jordan Childs on vault.
Wow.
Nice.
Couldn't have done it better. Just that, I don't know if they'll give her credit for that little, ever so slightly bounce, but she loves it.
She said, I talked to her yesterday, and she said, I'm here to have fun. This is all about having fun for me. And you know what? You've been to 2 Olympics. You won an Olympic gold medal. I mean, I'm not going to say this is easier necessarily because there's a lot of pressure. You want to perform for your team, but she's earned the right to have fun.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I feel like Jordan not only brings the amazing vibes everywhere she goes in collegiate gymnastics, but she's also had such a massive impact on the elite world. And watching her just have so much fun in elite gymnastics and the way that she rubs off on her teammates, it's amazing to watch it, and I'm so proud of her.
Meanwhile, Arkansas on beam, slowly having quite a rotation. Park put up a 9.875. Haley Klein now 3 gymnasts to go. If they can keep these scores building, you know, maybe, just maybe, give themselves a chance here on that last rotation.
Side aerial into layup step out.
On cue.
Very difficult. Was crooked on that side aerial, and once you're crooked on that, there's really not much you can do to straighten yourself out.
Don't forget, though, right now their low score is a 9.825. That is a very good score. So they can drop this Klein score. They need big numbers, though, from Swaney and Robertson, their last 2 gymnasts to go. Kentucky as well. They're having a nice rotation. All you can do is hit your routines, try to give yourselves a shot, see where those chips fall.
Always hard to have the courage to continue your beam routine when you make a mistake. Especially us gymnasts, a lot of us are perfectionists. Round up 1.5. Came back, finished very strong. Not easy to do that.
So Ohio State following a mistake of their own, that Buchanan 8-9. Pressure on McCann now in the 4th spot.
Slight leg separation on that packed salto from the high bar to the low bar.
Jordan Childs a 9.925 as Macy McGowan takes to the runway. Wow, big.
Very big. You see, she was almost on that line, either over it or just on it. The judges don't take a deduction on vault. If you're over the line, they more just use it for general direction to see if the gymnast goes straight. They can take a deduction if they want to, though.
It's a feel.
Yeah.
Which doesn't give you a good feeling if you're the gym. So it's really up to you, but it's not definitive. That's that kind of, just bottom line is keep it in the lines and you'll be okay.
Yeah, I think the judge might take a deduction that it was crooked, but it's not the same on floor. If you go out of bounds, there's an automatic deduction.
Here's Haley Davis, who said she chose Kentucky because, in her words, I look good in blue. She's outstanding on this event. A lot of fun to watch.
The theme of this floor routine is Women of Rock, and it's using all female bands.
Callie Swaney on beam for Arkansas, following a 9.05. Have to get 2 hits.
Seemed like Callie had to wait a little bit. And you know that you're going up after your teammate who made a mistake. You know that you want to drop that score, the pressure's on, and then when you have to wait on the side, you can hear the other gymnasts competing, you can hear the distractions in the crowd. It's really hard not to get in your own head. I imagine Coach Weber told her just to do her normal. That's what me and Jordan Weber used to tell each other when we were competing. Just like any other day in the gym. Triple series here. Oh.
Devastating for Callie Swaney and the Razorbacks. Started so well with 3 gymnasts to go. Haley Davis hitting you with her best shot on floor exercise for Kentucky.
It looked like she was gonna save it and then looked like her foot slipped off the beam. I don't know if gymnasts get enough credit, though, for how tough they are. She just got right back up after she fell like that and right back up on the 4 inches wide beam.
That does not feel good. That is not a forgiving surface. I haven't done it, but I can tell, Allie.
It definitely is not.
Here's Mason Rader on the uneven bars. Again, 2 pressure sets here for the Buckeyes. They have a miss on the board with that 8-9. Try to erase it here with 2 hit routines.
Looking for a handstand at the top of the bar right here. Good speed on this giant. Yeah.
Mika Webster-Longan now finishing things off for UCLA. Their lowest score, a 9.75. So with that 0.6 lead and putting up good numbers here, it looks like it'll just get extended.
This is a gymnast I'm very excited about. You should expect big things from her. I love how the last twist, the last half twist was so quick.
Mika was part of the Belgium national team. And yes, very exciting to see what she can do. Let's go down to Taylor.
John, this Kentucky team is trying to replace one of the all-time greats in Raina Worley. As head coach Tim Garrison told us, I don't know how you replace somebody that only missed 1 routine their entire career, but she's still a part of the program. She's actually a student coach this year and responsible for their floor choreography. She told me before the meet, she is so thrilled to still be around the sport, around Kentucky, and taking on floor choreography has been a new challenge. They're thrilled to have her with the program.
Yeah, but Taylor, what was the one miss? I mean, that's the headline right there. One miss. It's got to haunt her for the rest of her life.
You'll make sure of it.
Skylar Kilo Wilhelm for Kentucky on floor right now. Jocelyn Robertson, remember that 24 Olympic team? No, seriously, what a great athlete for Kentucky. She was.
Jocelyn won beam at Olympic trials this past summer. Anchoring this team on her collegiate debut. Pretty impressive. On floor, Skylar almost had that, but bent her legs after that first skill. Needed to keep them straight in order to land upright to do the proper punch front.
Yeah, a good routine, and then unfortunately, just that landing kind of got her there at the end.
I can tell from Jocelyn's dance and the way she finished that layout step out. She's very sharp and she's commanding where to put her hands and her arms, making sure that they're nice and tight so she doesn't have any wobbles. This is a new dismount. Jocelyn learned it just in November.
I think it's a successful debut for Jocelyn Robertson. She's also in the hunt for the all-around title here today as well. Tori Vetter on bars.
Showing off huge flexibility with that massive Tkachev to start off this bar routine. These gymnasts that are going last on these events, they've had to wait patiently on the side. Hard not to overthink and get in your head, and hard to stay warmed up. Watch the flexibility as she flies through the air. It's pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
5 feet high in the air. And then is able to look at the bar, watch it, and grab it. So much force on your body, on your shoulders when you catch the bar.
Love those tech tools presented by AAI. Great look at the height there. Kreslin Bros, she can absolutely perform on this event. Kind of like Brooklyn Morris from UCLA, really exemplifies that performance quality. Still waiting for that score, though, from Kilo Wilhelm. 9.925 for Haley Davis. They're going to want to drop that Kilo Wilhelm score, I'm certain. It should be below that 9.8 with that landing deduction there at the end. But this meet, it feels like it's UCLA's meet to win. They're going to have a big lead. Maybe the battle now is who's going to be second. And I'll tell you what, as tumultuous as the fall has been, I don't know if tumultuous is the right word, Mr. Toad's wild ride for Ohio State, for them to come out of here in second, I think Meredith Polisiewicz would be thrilled with that for the start to the season. Still a little work to do. These teams have had some mistakes, but that'll be interesting to watch in the final rotation.
I always say the competition is not over until it's over. Sometimes we'll come down to the final routine. You never know what's going to happen in the last rotation.
John, you made a great point, and I've been down here on the floor around this Ohio State team, and what has stood out to me is their composure throughout. And Coach Polisiewicz told us this week, we've been dealing with illnesses, with lineup changes for the past 3 weeks that I think they've become used to the unpredictability of it. They've been locked in. I think, like you said, she's going to be really pleased with this showing.
Absolutely. If you can get through when times are tough, when you're not feeling well, if you can go out and perform and hit routines when maybe you're a little bit sick, when those things clear up, you're just tougher for it. Kreslin Bros now the anchor for Kentucky here on floor exercise, trying to drop that 9.175.
That was a really, really fun routine. And to dance like that requires more endurance than you would think. So not only is she dancing like that for a minute and a half, but the tumbling that she did, ending with that last tumbling pass, that difficult tumbling pass and landing it upright, shouldn't get any deduction for that last pass landing. I think that's going to be a big score, and they're going to be able to drop that 9.175.
So good finish for the Kentucky Wildcats. Jordan Childs is having a night as well. Didn't compete the beam, but floor and vault were outstanding. Let's take another look at this Childs vault, Allie.
This vault was awesome. Just the slightest shuffle of her feet right there, but that was the only deduction. Got a massive 9.925. Huge score. Excellent.
That vault for her all season is going to be about whether or not she sticks it. She will make it every time. She's thrilled. Shout out to LA to help the people affected by the California wildfires in 2025. Please donate to the redcross.org/ESPN to help the Red Cross respond and help people recover. Again, redcross.org/ESPN. Our thoughts go out to all the people in the LA area. Just such a tough time. Great to see Jordan giving them a little bit of a shout out. They've been teammates. They're teammates on the 24 team that won gold, and here they are competing against each other on the collegiate floor. Oh, it's going to be a good one next Friday night. The #3 Gators visit Baton Rouge. I'm going to be there with Sam Peshek, ESPN2, 7:30 Eastern, and Taylor Davis. The headliner, Taylor Davis. 3 versus 2. Something's got to give. And we're going to find out what gives in Baton Rouge. Man, that's going to be so much fun. Here we are in Oklahoma City. UCLA, a commanding lead over Ohio State, Kentucky, Arkansas. I got to think Arkansas and Kentucky really disappointed with how things have gone. But they may be disappointed, but we're not disappointed. This has been an amazing weekend of gymnastics, Allie.
It has been. I had very high hopes, but this weekend has surpassed my expectations. I can't believe we're only week 2 into the season. The way that these gymnasts have come into practice, they're so prepared. The intensity of the practices, everybody wants to show that they're championship ready, and this meet has been fantastic.
I think a lot of expectations for all these teams, and they're trying to show that they can live up to them. It's been fun. We've had a lot of great athletes, but this session's featured athlete brought to you by Sprouts is Isabella Magnelli.
Isabella is a 2-time NCAA beam All-American. We saw her beam tonight. She got a 9.925. It was such a clutch performance. And on top of that, what I love is she connects 3 skills in a row, taking extra risk with that triple series.
That 9.925 on beam, far from the best thing that's happened to her recently. For more on that, Taylor Davis has got it.
Well, John, the start to her 5th year at Kentucky really got off with quite the high note at their blue and white exhibition in December. Her boyfriend, or fiance, I should say, Brandon Adams, caught the question in front of their fans and the rest of her team. Head coach Tim Garrison was involved in the planning committee. A fantastic day for Isabella Magnelli and Brandon Adams. Congratulations to the happy couple. High hopes for the rest of this year for the Kentucky Wildcats, and high hopes for the next rotation. We'll be right back. Kentucky heads to the vault.
You're watching the Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad live from Oklahoma City. We call that the re-tease in the business, Allie. And that's a shout out to everybody in the truck who worked so hard to make this show happen. Let's give it up for Aaron in the truck for putting that re-tease together. Here is the rotation by rotation situation. UCLA has led wire to wire, and they have just pulled away like a horse on the backstretch, just leaving the field in the dust. Big reason why Jordan Childs has been outstanding. But really for the other teams, lots of mistakes, Allie.
It's still early on in the season, so it makes a lot of sense that there are mistakes, and they're also on podium right now, so it feels like a national championship.
UCLA will finish up on bars. Kentucky, we can see them on vault. They need to try to be perfect, and really, the only way UCLA loses this if they start having multiple mistakes. They've got a cushion, but you know what they want. They don't want to just get through this. They want to hit with 6 outstanding routines, and there is one from Shea Campbell. She's not going to miss. The veteran, she's been through this. She's felt all the kinds of pressure. Riley Guevara for Ohio State. They're in second, .825, 0.8 of a point behind UCLA, but just about 0.3 ahead of Kentucky. I'll tell you what, that number 16 team, Ohio State, they would love to beat both of these SEC teams here today. Callista Gamio on floor for Arkansas. It's been a tough night for the Razorbacks. They want to finish strong here and just on a good note.
And for Ohio State to get second, ending on beam would be a big confidence boost for this team. That first skill on balance beam, that full turn, had a balance check on that. Might have at least 1/10 deduction for that. Hard to start off your first skill with a wobble. Got to take a beat and set yourself up for the rest of the routine. On floor, stuck landing, didn't even need to lunge out of that. That's exactly the type of control that the judges are looking for. Good start for Ohio State on beam. It's very nerve-wracking to go up first for your team on beam on that last event. Wow. I'm a big fan of this floor routine, the tumbling, the control, and the landings, but also, I gotta say, I love the choreography.
Cicely Rizzo for Kentucky on vault. Rodriguez just a 9.625 in the leadoff spot.
That block was excellent, the way that she catapulted into the air. The tighter your arms are when you hit the table, the higher you can go off the table.
Caitlin Rosen following Campbell's 9.8.
Caitlin doing a great job squeezing her legs together. That last handstand was great. Did a good job holding that stuck landing. The judges want to see you hold that for 1 second. Otherwise, they don't count it as a stick.
Held on to that landing. The leader in the clubhouse and the all-around, by the way, right now, obviously with a lot yet to go in this rotation, is Shea Campbell from UCLA. So Samara Buchanan now, a 9.525 for an opening score on beam. Clearly, if they have hopes of coming home with second, got to do better than that the rest of the way.
That same skill on beam that her teammates struggled with. She had a slight wobble on that full turn. Side aerial, good connection. Judges want to see you continuously move your arms. If you break the movement in your arms, that connection doesn't count. Solid back handspring layout, step out. Maddie rocking that first floor pass.
Buchanan finishing up for Ohio State. Second gymnast to go there, 4 to go for Ohio State, trying to drop that 9.525. UCLA bars, Caitlin Rosen, a 9.9. Ryan Noonan now on vault for Kentucky, follows Rizzo's 9.8.
Landed off to the side, Ryan on vault. You can tell she stepped over that line. As you mentioned before, the judges won't take, they may not take a deduction for, it's not like on floor where you take a deduction for going out of bounds, but they'll probably take a deduction for being a little bit crooked. They want to see you land right in the center of the mat.
Yeah, that one was a little more crooked than we've seen from most of the vaulters tonight, so we'll see what the judges do there. Mika Webster Longang now on the uneven bars. Outstanding Yurchenko 1.5 from her in the last rotation.
The form on this routine is just breathtaking. Her toe point, the extension, gorgeous. She just floats so effortlessly from one skill to the next. Watch the handstand position on top of the bar. Beautiful.
She's going to be a fun freshman to watch. We've talked a lot about outstanding freshmen throughout this weekend. There's one that might be a little bit more under the radar, but certainly showing some fantastic gymnastics.
Expect big things from her. I'm excited to watch her.
Cameron Smith now for Ohio State on beam. 9.725 for Buchanan. Got to keep building those scores. You can see Arkansas on floor, a couple big numbers there. Kentucky does have a 9.625 on vault, but if they can land on their feet, they will drop that score. Here's Leah Smith for Arkansas on floor exercise.
Cameron doing a great job of being sharp and confident with every movement. Front layout step on floor. Very unique into a double tuck. And on beam, that was an excellent routine. They're going to be so thrilled with that.
They needed that one. Did the Buckeyes. Isabella Magnelli on vault, outstanding here, typically for the Wildcats.
Not as common of a vault, but we love to see the front pike half. That's out of a 10.0. Just that slight, maybe 1/2 tenth deduction on the landing. Wow, that was perfection. That double pike opened up at the exact right moment. That was beautiful.
She loves it. For Arkansas, they did not have a meet last weekend, so this is their opening competition. For all these programs that we've spoken with, really they're talking about, hey, let's figure out who we are in January, work out some of the kinks and build from there. So can't expect to be perfect early in the year, although try to tell Oklahoma that. Although they had some mistakes today too. Macy McGowan follows that 9.825 from Webster Longan.
I loved the distance she caught on that high bar, the Tkachev, and then connected immediately into the shoot over. Most gymnasts get in that horizontal position, and she almost hit that handstand. That's probably one of the best connections into shoot overs I've ever seen.
UCLA certainly has turned the page on their opener last weekend. Look like a new team.
Watch the body position as she hits the low bar. Almost hit that handstand. The judges only require you to go horizontal on that, and she was right on top. Just that small step on that dismount. Needed to hold on just for a moment longer. It would have stuck that dismount.
2 more gymnasts to go for UCLA, but the outcome for them certainly feels inevitable at this point. But who is going to be that second team? And that certainly seems much more in question. Tomorrow afternoon, we've got a women's basketball doubleheader on ESPN and the app. Number 2 South Carolina hosts number 5 Texas at 1 Eastern. Then number 21 NC State is at Maples Pavilion to take on Stanford. That's women's college basketball. Tori Vetter waiting to go on the balance beam. Big Ten co-champion on that event. Lauren Williams steps onto the floor exercise now for Arkansas. Leah Smith, a 9.875.
Tori did a beautiful job with that full turn. I like how she kicked out, stops her body from turning, but it also gives it an extra unique, beautiful look. Lauren opening in with a full twisting double back.
Tori Vetter on beam to clinch the all-around, meaning she could not be caught. It would take a 9.925. That is a big number. Not a lot of scores over this weekend in that range.
It is a big number, but she hasn't had one bobble yet. That was excellent. I think it's going to be close. I think she could get the 9.925, but as you mentioned, the judges have been scoring a little bit lower. They haven't given out too many of those 9.925s, but I definitely think it could be that. Just never know. I feel like they're scoring much harder right now. Arkansas on floor coming back so strong after that third rotation on beam.
Mackenzie Wilson, she's gotten a 10 here before.
Yeah, she's gotten 2 perfect 10s on this event.
And like a dart. Outstanding.
Watch her elbow position as she hits the table. It opens up, chest is right up, and she holds that stick position.
Now, no landing deductions, but distance from the vault table. You talked about it earlier today. A little bit close. Feels like that might be where they get her a little bit.
Judges can take up to 3/10 deduction if they don't feel that the gymnast has gotten enough distance from the table. So we'll have to see what they do with that.
Frida Esparza on bars for UCLA. Courtney McCann on balance beam for Ohio State. Tori Vetter got a 9.85.
Frida on bars. That pack full is the type of difficulty you see in an Olympic bar final. So few gymnasts in the world can do that.
And she is loving it, and UCLA is absolutely feeling it in this session. They have been outstanding. That 9.85 for Tori Vetter, that puts her in the lead in the all-around, but doesn't guarantee her that all-around title with some athletes yet to come.
And Courtney on beam, she just did a round off, layout 2 feet. There are so few gymnasts in the world that do that. And if you're a longtime gymnastics fan, the Chinese gymnasts do that. And those, in my opinion, are the best gymnasts in the world on balance beam.
Jocelyn Robertson on floor exercise. This, along with vault, are really the 2 events that got her on the world championship team in 2023 because of skills like that.
That double layout, we could both walk under it.
Robertson can get a tie for the all-around title with Vetter with a 9.95. She can win it outright with a 9.975. And I would say that's not possible, but we're talking about Jocelyn Robertson, one of the best in the world over the last couple years on floor exercise.
Jocelyn's one of the most powerful gymnasts in the world, even those jumps right there higher than most.
Mackenzie Wilson, a 9.95 for Kentucky on vault, and Anna Flynn Cashin to finish things out for the Wildcats.
Same vault we just saw. That was really high. Got really good block off the table and more distance. That was excellent. I'm curious what they're gonna do with that. I think it should go higher than a 9.95. That was excellent.
Well, there is room between a 9.95 and a 10. That was outstanding. Great finish for Kentucky and great finish for Jocelyn Robertson right there. What a debut for the freshmen. They got something good there in Fayetteville.
They absolutely do. They're lucky to have Jocelyn. I don't think she could have asked for a better collegiate career debut.
JoJo Warga for Ohio State on beam. Jocelyn coming off of that Olympic run in the summer. Then she goes right on to the post-Olympic tour, the Gold Over America tour with Simone Biles. Comes in November, gets ready for the season. It looks like she's been getting ready for the season for a lot longer than a couple of months. Jordan Childs will finish things off for UCLA on bars. This is just a victory lap for the Bruins.
I love watching Jordan on this event. She's so dynamic. Like handstands like that was so good. The way she just hits her handstands at the top of the bar, just like that. She usually sticks it. So close.
What a day for Jordan Childs. So fun to watch. Jocelyn Robertson, 9.95, will give her a tie for the all-around title. She is undefeated in her collegiate career in the all-around, Allie.
I love that.
There you go.
JoJo on beam, very solid and confident.
They need a big score here, does Ohio State, if they want to hold on to that second spot. Again, they're trying to drop that 9.525.
Coach Weber says Frankie is the best she's ever looked.
Frankie Price, so fun to watch on this event. Warga needs a 9.9 to move ahead of Kentucky to hold on to that second spot. Nice finish for the Razorbacks. Warga a 9.825. They will not hold on to second place. The Ohio State Buckeyes, it'll be Kentucky that moves into that second spot. Here's another look at Price.
Watch this dynamic tumbling past that double layout. Excellent.
Not the start that the Arkansas Razorbacks necessarily wanted, but again, they have got so much talent, so much experience. They've got some great freshmen, as we saw from Jocelyn Robertson. I fully expect to see this team just build from this point.
I completely agree. And the way that they came back from beam and rocked floor says so much about this team, and those moments of proving to yourself and your teammates that you can come back from a mistake is really important for confidence building.
Jordan Weber with some words to her team. 9.9 for Frankie Price, 9.85 for Jordan Childs as she finishes her night on balance beam. setting the stage for some outstanding gymnastics yet to come this season. We will wrap things up from Oklahoma City when we come back. We're here. It is all USA, UCLA. It feels like USA. So many Olympians in the house. It's all UCLA in a dominating win. They move up over 2 points from their opening weekend score just a few days ago. Unbelievable performance from the Bruins. Kentucky, Ohio State, Arkansas round out the top 4. Your all-around winners. Tori Vetter ties Jocelyn Robertson.
These gymnasts were rock solid throughout the competition, starting on floor, hit this routine. Landings were very clean. Gorgeous vault, stuck that landing. Watch the height and the amplitude, the distance from the table. And on bars, flying release moves with that flexibility and that Tkachev release move. And then this dismount. And this beam routine was so impressive. The last event, when you're tired, didn't show any signs of that, stuck that landing. And then tied with Jocelyn, her collegiate debut. Watch this vault. Huge amplitude in the air, just that small, ever so slightly shuffle on the landing. Beautiful bar routine. Jocelyn is one of the most dynamic and most powerful gymnasts in the world. So consistent, such a great competitor. Won Olympic trials on beam. Can see why here. Brand new dismount for Jocelyn as well. And then on floor, one of the highest double layouts that you will see. Just excellent tumbling passes. Way to finish strong on floor.
So Vetter for Ohio State leads them to an outstanding performance, and Robertson, what a debut for her. Well, Taylor Davis has got our interview presented by Jersey Mike's, and she's got 2 stars of the show.
That's right, John. Your USA comment was foreshadowing because both Jocelyn and Jordan join me now. You both competed on the biggest stages in the world in the past year. You join, or rejoin in your case, NCAA gymnastics for nights like this one. Why is this experience so important to the both of you?
I think honestly, just having both of literally having the best of both worlds, being able to be in part of Team USA and then also in college. But for me, this is something that, I wanted to come back and enjoy, but I think having Jocelyn having this experience and knowing that, you can have fun in gymnastics a little more. So it's pretty cool to know that she gets to debut herself and have fun with it.
I think just being part of a bigger team, like for the Olympics, we only had 9 total, but now we have 20 total. So just being part of a way bigger team is so much fun. And then this being my first ever college meet on podium, it's kind of my wheelhouse. I'm so used to podium. So I felt more comfortable, and then having her here, so many teammates up in the stands, my family, it just made me feel so calm, and I loved it.
You tied for the all-around in your first collegiate meet. You surprised to hear that?
No, not at all, at all. I'm very proud of her. Words can't express. I was trying to watch throughout the meet, but I definitely can say I'm not surprised. She is dominant on all of her events, and I'm very, very proud of her.
Sky's the limit for the both of you. We've seen that the past year. Looking forward to your collegiate seasons. Best of luck.
Thank you.
They represented Team USA together. They trained together at World Champions Center with Simone Biles, and now they are competing against each other on the collegiate floor. We're going to finish things up. What a great weekend from Oklahoma City when we return. Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad is brought to you by Sprouts Farmers Market, powering women on and off the mat. What a weekend of gymnastics it has been. And this session, it belonged to the UCLA Bruins. A dominating performance. Yeah, that's a lap. That's a lapping the field is what the Bruins did right there. They get the win over Kentucky, Ohio State, and Arkansas. Allie, I want to get your final thoughts on the weekend, but our schedule first brought to you by Sprouts. This is next weekend. That number 3 versus number 2 on ESPN2, 7:30 Eastern time is going to be fun. And then, of course, Friday Night Heights, got a couple on the SEC network as well. So tune in next week. This excitement continues. Allie, final thoughts on the weekend.
This weekend was epic. At the end of the day, I'm a massive gymnastics fan. It was so fun to be here, and that UCLA beam rotation was incredible, and I'm so proud of them for the way they handled that pressure.
So technically the second weekend of women's gymnastics, but it feels like this was really the opener. What a job everyone has done putting this great event together. Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad lived up to the billing. UCLA gets the win here in the final session over Kentucky, Ohio State, and Arkansas. After the break, we'll get you out to Melbourne and the Australian Open. For Taylor Davis, I'm Allie Raisman. I'm not Allie Raisman. That's Allie Raisman. I'm John Rothsberg. It's been a long weekend. So long from Oklahoma City. Oh, my goodness.